Hey guys, MasterFiggy here, bringing you another video. In this one, we're doing a Uta Whitebeard pirate deck. So this isn't really a deck that's meta relevant at all, really. This is purely an aggro deck. This is supposed to be as affordable as I possibly can make this, just to make this an interesting kind of deck for some people who are working off of a budget. So they can use this in locals or just for casual play, really. So to start off, we have Uta here. So Uta's the leader. So for one Dawn, you may rest. You rest one Dawn, and then one of your characters without effects gain 2,000 power during this turn. So very nice. We're getting 2k for one Dawn rather than the typical 1k, so it's really nice. I also really like the artwork of Uta here, really nice looking with the coloring pencil aesthetic. This leader is actually pretty cheap, even though it's a promo card. You can still get this pretty cheap. I think it was like 50 cents or something online when I saw it. That's not bad, honestly. Next up, we're playing 3 of the Nami from the starter deck. So what's great about the Nami is she basically allows us to actually gain more advantage with that suspended Dawn that Uta was giving before. So you can use Uta's ability, suspend it, and power up one of our vanilla characters. And then Nami can actually give that rested Dawn to our leader or that character, so they gain an extra 1k. So using Nami here I think is a really good call for this deck. We then play 4 of the Bartolomeo. So we play him because with Chopper can actually be gotten rid of quite easily with Seaquake and even with Vista and Robin. But with Bartolomeo, what you do with him is you're playing him for 2 cost, so automatically Seaquake can't get rid of him. And then with his ability to give him 2 Dawn, he can't be deleted by our opponent's Vistas or Robins if you're going up against red. We then play 4 Sanji. So Sanji is a 2k counter for this deck. He also can be an additional tacker. So once per turn, you may add 1 card from your life area to your hand, and he gains 2k power, and then you give him 2 rested Dawn. So essentially you're putting him up to 7k, which is really nice. You could even use Nami if there's an additional rested Dawn to give that to him. So this is just really nice for both attacking and for defensive purposes. We then play 2 Masked Deuce. So this is just a really cheaper 2k counter. He is purely a 2k counter, honestly. You can use him for his ability if you want, which is give him 2 Dawn, and when attacking, you get to KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less. So this is kind of a way of getting rid of the 1 cost blockers like Chopper that I mentioned earlier. But like I said, you're mainly having him in the deck for his counter purposes. There are better ones like Otama, but the reason I'm not using Otama in this deck is because I want to show off the more cheaper options that you can use if you're working off of a budget. But if you're able to get Otama, I would highly recommend playing 4 Otama in this deck. We then play 4 Vista. So Vista is like an upgraded version of Robin. It can be a little bit pricey if you're trying to get 4 copies from one person, because I think it's about 120, 150 is the cheapest that I've seen for just 1 copy. So to get 4 playsets is really awkward. But the reason why he's good is on play you get to KO one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. So an insta kill with this card. You slap him down, get rid of a blocker that's in the way. Very nice. We then play 4 of the Rakuyo. So I feel like this card is a bit overlooked by a lot of people. A lot of people go with Moby Dick straight away, and that's understandable. But with Rakuyo, he is really good for this deck because with original Whitebeard, you're always losing a life card because of his effect. With Rakuyo and Uta, you're not hugely well, okay, the aim of the game is that you're not trying to get rid of your life cards, so you can be in turns where you could be still on 3 or 4 life, so you're not waiting around for Moby Dick's effect. With Rakuyo, you give him 1 Dawn, and you instantly power up your Whitebeard characters, which is very, very nice, and you pair that up with the Nami, which can just give him the rested Dawn, and it becomes really good. And giving him 1 Dawn puts him up to 6k, which is amazing. We then play 4 of the Jozu. This again is purely for counter purposes. Jozu, he can be searched off of the Whitebeard Pirates event. So yeah, you can play him as well for hard play for 4, and he just becomes a 4k character. But honestly, I would just keep him in the hand for purely the 2k counter. We then play 4 of the Marco from set 1, so even though he has former Whitebeard pirates, he can actually still be searched off of Whitebeard pirates. He can also get the power boost from Rakuyo and from Moby Dick, so this is really nice. And with Uta, we can actually get him up to 7k quite quickly. So I think Marco is an essential because he's the minimum 3 cost 5k vanilla. We then play 2 of the blocker Marco. You can replace some of the cards in this deck for more Marcos if you wish. Marco isn't actually that expensive. He is actually pretty good. I suppose you could, if you wanted, you may want to get rid of the Mask Deuce for 2 more Marco. You do lose 2k counters that way though. So I would say play around with some the cards. But with Marco here, he's a blocker like I mentioned, and also on KO you may trash 1 card from your hand with Whitebeard Pirates in this trait. And if you have 2 or less life cards, you can play this character rested. So that's really nice. So basically, he blocks the attack. He gets KO'd if you're on 2 or less life. Discard one of your Whitebeard pirates, and then you get to play him again. So that's really good. So here we have Atmos. He is our generic 4-cost vanilla with 6k, and you can get him up to 8k with Uta, and then with Nami's and the Rakuyo, you're giving him a lot of power boost. And, like all the vanillas, he has a 1k counter. So you see this in any Whitebeard standard deck. We then play 4 Kingdu. So again, 5 cost, vanilla, 7k. Power him up with Uta and with Rakuyo and Moby Dick and Nami. So the vanillas, what you see is what you get with the vanilla cards. I was playing Thatch as well, but I kind of thought that was a little bit too high of a cost, and I replaced it with other cards. So here we have 4 copies of Radical Beam. I know that we're not losing as many life as we would if we were playing Whitebeard as a leader, but this is still very useful. It's still a very cheap card to buy. Like this is like maybe 5 cents a copy. I was playing Point Guard. Point Guard is like €1 a copy. So, paying 20 cents for 4 Radical Beam or paying €4 for Point Guard, I'll let you guys decide which you think is appropriate for you. But I want to make this, again, like I said, affordable as possible for people and still playable. And Radical Beam can still be good for those clutch moments when you're down to 2 or less life, bringing your character up to 4k. We also play 3 Whitebeard Pirates. So this allows us to look at the top 5 cards of our deck, and then we get to add a Whitebeard Pirates character from those 5 to our hand. We also have Round Table, so we play 2 of this card. Um, I would honestly play Jet Pistol, but like I said, trying to be affordable as possible. So we give one of our opponent's characters minus 10k power during the turn. So this can be nice if we're dealing with someone who has possibly a very high blocker and we just want to hit that. And then finally we are playing two of the Moby Dick. So Moby Dick is much stronger when you have Whitebeard as your leader, but it can still be good for this deck. And if you have one or less life cards, your Edward Newgate and all your characters with Whitebeard Pirates in its type gain plus 2k power. So we're bringing out our vanillas for a much higher attack power. Same with Rikuyo, Moby Dick and Rikuyo with Nami and Uta. We're bringing out really strong attackers with this deck, and that's kind of the whole idea with the Uta White Pirates deck. Is you're powering up your characters so much and you're just swinging into your opponent as quickly as possible. The big issue is that there isn't any rush characters, and of course I'd love to play rush characters in this. You could possibly play the rush Sanji. I don't know how much that is going for. It was from the starter deck, so that is something to look into. But stuff like the Rush Zoro and the Rush Zoro, it doesn't work because, well, okay, it does work, but it is very expensive. And there is Ace, but that only works if you have a Whitebeard Pirates leader. So unfortunately, that isn't an option, even though it is one of the cheaper super rares out there. So I say the best bet is to look for the Sanji if you can find it for a good price. But that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this isn't a meta deck. This is just a fun, casual deck, something for people who are looking for affordable decks to try out. And it's very easy to understand the game with this deck, I feel. If you feel like Vista is a little bit too expensive for you, I would recommend looking into the Robin. It's not a Whitebeard pirate card, but it's still a cheaper option for Vista. Hopefully Vista goes down in price just so some people can get him. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe to stay up to date with more videos that I will have. And, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think of the deck. Tell me if you tried this deck out. Or if you tried out the Uta Straw Hat deck. That is something I thought of as well. But I just didn't think it was as good, in my opinion, as the Whitebeard option. But if someone can, if someone has a Straw Hat version or a different version of the Whitebeard Uta deck, I'd love to hear it. Take care, guys. Bye.